Have you ever wondered how to identify your negative thoughts but didn't know where to start? If that's something you're interested in, stay tuned. Welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new, my name's Alyssa Cotten. I do videos on self-help, mental health, and motivation. I really encourage you to subscribe because I do videos out every single Monday, and that way you're going to get the latest information on my latest released videos. And thank you so much for those who are returning to this community of self-exploration, self-development, and self-help. I'm really grateful that you are returning and you're checking out today's video. Today's video, we're going to talk about how to identify the negative thoughts. And by the end of this video, you're going to have 5 new skills on how to check in with your thoughts and kind of figure out where they're at and where your headspace has been. I have a video out that's on what to do once you've had your negative thoughts, so I'll link that above here. It's how to stop your negative thoughts fast. That is a video that's kind of a follow-up to this one of once you've identified that you've had negative thoughts, this video will allow you to stop them kind of in their tracks and kind of work through them a lot faster. So let's get started. So the first tip to identify your negative thoughts is ask yourself certain questions around your environment. So we've got people, places, and things. Ask yourself, when I'm around certain people, does my headspace tend to be negative? Is there any toxic friends, toxic family members, or really even negative coworkers? When we notice we're around them, we're like, man, I just have like a lot of negative thoughts. Or even people that are impressing us, people that we look up to, they can really cause a lot of negative thoughts, a lot of self-defeating thoughts. For example, you might just get off the phone with a friend and they just shared all these amazing things that they're doing. You might do a quick thought check right there to say, where are my thoughts at? And that's a great way to see, is that person triggering something in you? And when I say the word trigger, I just mean, is that triggering a negative thought to come forward? Not triggering you to do anything bad, but triggering you in a way that allows the negative thoughts to come forward when we're not wanting to. And it's not like the people are doing it on purpose, but there's something inside of us that goes, and it snaps so quickly, and it identifies as a negative thought. Another area that we can look at, not only just people, but places, is there certain places that you go to and you start to notice a lot of negative thoughts. For example, maybe you go to someone's house and their house is just so beautiful and it's so clean, and you think to yourself, oh man, my house is really messy, my this or that, right? And we start that spiral. We're not even starting to make sense, but we start to mumble in our mind of all these negative thoughts coming forward in different environmental things. The next one that we can check in with in our environment are things. And when I'm saying things, that can be like food. For example, if I'm eating food, am I having negative thoughts of like, you shouldn't be eating this, you know better, you're gonna get fat, right? All of those negative thoughts start to come in. Or are your thoughts more positive towards, great, you're eating this really yummy, nurturing meal that's gonna nurture you, it's gonna make you strong, it's gonna allow you to function. We can also see this with clothes. So we might feel really great in a certain outfit, or maybe we feel super negative and we put on an outfit, we look in the mirror, and the first thing we notice are negative thoughts about ourselves. Maybe we think, I'm fat, I'm ugly, or this doesn't fit, oh, I just look gross. Those are all different negative thoughts that we can see around in our environment. Another thing that we can check with our environment are materialistic things. For example, if we know that someone has got like the latest technology, what happens with our headspace? Does it start to go more negative, more positive? Do we start to think, how can I spend this, right? Do we look at our bank account and we notice more negative thoughts? So the first tip on identifying your negative thoughts is checking in with your environment. Checking in of people, places, and things, and notice when I'm in a new environment, does my headspace go more negative thoughts? Does my headspace go to positive thoughts, neutral thoughts, and just checking in? And the key is when you're checking in with your thoughts is no judgment. So no judgment if you notice, wow, I've been really having a lot of negative thoughts today. That's not the goal of this exercise. The goal is to really just check in and kind of get in tuned with where your headspace has been at, so then you can learn, how do I work through that? The second tip in identifying your negative thoughts is, as soon as you wake up, what is that immediate thought in your mind? Is it, ugh, I'm exhausted, I'm tired, I have a long day today? Or is it more positive? Is it, I'm awesome, I'm gonna take the day on, I'm gonna charge it forward? So as soon as you wake up, before you even check your phone, scan your thoughts. All right, what are my thoughts? Did I have a weird dream that's making me ponder or think or ask myself what's going on? So as soon as you wake up, do that quick head scan of figuring out what's going on in my head. Is it more positive? Is it more negative? And that's really going to set the tone for how the rest of the day goes out, right? If you know those days where you wake up and you're like, I just woke up on the wrong side of the bed, I can guarantee that your headspace was probably more negative when you woke up. And a lot of factors can contribute, right? If we're exhausted, lack of sleep, dehydration, all of those things can kind of impact our headspace. But that quick check can give us a really great understanding of what's going on and where our headspace is at. The third tip for identifying your negative thoughts, and this one is pretty new, so just hear me out when I explain it, is you pick a color. So for example, you pick the color blue, any shade of blue. And anytime you see that shade of blue, whether you're driving, you're at your house, you're in the community, you're wearing blue, you ask yourself, where are my thoughts at? So that's a little bit more of an organic way to kind of prompt, where's my headspace at? And what you'll notice is you'll start to see blue spots everywhere, whether it's a blue car or a blue dish or a blue shirt or blue jeans. You're going to start seeing them more and more. And every time you see that color, just for a day, you can pick it for a day, you're going to ask yourself, where are my thoughts? Are they more positive or are they more negative? Because sometimes our thoughts, they just go on autopilot and we really don't even recognize where they're at or how far in a spiral of negative thoughts that we've been in. So it's really helpful that we're able to check in by picking a simple color. And you can do this every day. You know, if you're wanting to get more in tune with your body, more in tune with your headspace, you can pick a color and kind of have a fun game with it of seeing, all right, every time I see the color blue, I'm going to explore and see what happens. The fourth tip is asking yourself, is there any patterns or themes that you notice when you start to have negative thoughts? So for example, if you're driving to work every day and you start to notice that your headspace gets to be more negative, that might be a pattern of going to work might kind of activate some negative thoughts. Or there might be a certain group of friends that you hang out with or that you talk to, or even family members. If you notice those patterns of every time I leave this person's company, my headspace is really negative. I'm either negative towards myself or negative towards them, or I start to just kind of feel like in a yucky mood. That is a great indicator that those people in your life are activating negative thoughts. And it doesn't mean you have to kick them out of your life. What it means is before you go and spend time with them, be mindful and say, I'm having negative thoughts when I spend time with them. Maybe I can do some positive affirmations. And positive affirmations help rewire the brain, rewire that neurotransmitters, those neural pathways, to focus on thinking more positive. And so figuring out those patterns, is there certain, again, back to tip number one in that environment, is there certain things that we're noticing, those patterns and themes that allow us to recognize our negative thoughts and what's happening towards them. The fifth tip on how to identify negative thoughts is right before you fall asleep, check and kind of reflect on the whole day. Reflect on the whole day as you're laying there in bed and asking yourself, would I say today is a good day, a bad day? Did I have more negative thoughts? Was it more positive? And when you start to reflect, you're going to start to notice, wow, I was really negative towards this person, or I read that email wrong, and after I read it later on, I realized it wasn't a negative tone, but my headspace turned it to be a negative tone. So as you're reflecting on the day, you can kind of just say, all right, great. I had a really negative day. That's okay. I can just let it be, go to sleep, and start the next day fresh. And reminding yourself as you're on this journey of self-help and self-discovery, no judgment. This goal is to be curious, kind of like a cat. Cats are very curious. They're kind of like, what's this? What's that? They're kind of pushing the boundaries, trying to figure out where they can go. And that's the same thing about this self-help journey of kind of this self-discovery of trying to figure out where your headspace is at. You can start by giving yourself no judgment as you're exploring these negative thoughts. So once you've identified that you have negative thoughts, the next step is going to be to watch this video here on how to stop your negative thoughts fast. It's a great quick video on how to stop your thoughts fast and effectively. It also gives some information on why our negative thoughts are there in the first place. Thank you so much for taking time today to connect with yourself, to learn a little bit about yourself. I really hope that you subscribe, and don't forget to hit that like button. Comment below on ways that you check in with your negative thoughts. How do you do that thought checking? What environment or what kind of patterns or themes do you notice that allow you to check in with your negative thoughts? I'm Alyssa Cotten. Have a great day.